Today I'm fixing my Jetta, getting rid of the AC pump and replacing it with just a blank, I guess. The first step is going to be moving it to the garage. It hasn't ran probably a week or so. Let's see if it'll start. Cool plugs a cycle or two. It's only -1 or 2 outside right now, so it's not overly cold. Let's see if it'll go. Oh yeah. Starts up nice. Now, I'm not sure if it's coming over camera very well, but that terrible grinding noise is the bearing and I believe the clutch for the AC compressor. So I'll move it around into the garage and get started. Pulling into the garage, here's a quick demonstration of the sound from the inside. You can hear it's pretty bad, and then it quiets down. And you can hear once I start driving, it's also still very audible, and it starts echoing once you get inside. Here's the part I ended up using. It's a Dorman 34214 AC bypass pulley. It's actually meant for Mark IIIs, but after reading some posts on TDI forums, people made it happen with some 5-inch, 3/8 inch bolts. Here's what the actual piece looks like. And it's just essentially a pulley that fills the space where your compressor would be. Now that it's unboxed, make sure the bearing's fine. It doesn't seem overly wobbly and it spins without making noise. The one thing that should be known about this also is that there will be an extra groove when you put on your serpentine belt, because the belts on the older cars were larger, so as long as you keep it spaced out to the outside, you won't have a problem. The first step in disassembly is to remove the serpentine belt by releasing tension on your tensioner, which you can see is right there, and it's a 16 mil in this case because Volkswagen. Now that the belt is off, you can hear when I spin it that it just sounds terrible. It's only a matter of time until that gave out and threw my belt. Once you get the belt off, there are two 16 millimeter bolts, which I've already loosened off. You see, there's the other one right up there. So now they're just finger tight. But before we do that, we have to take off the AC lines, and you should make sure your system's already discharged before doing this so you don't release toxic gases. And they're both just Allen keys. I just used a T40 Torx because I'm lazy. That's what was beside me. It'll strip them out a little bit, but since I'm not putting these back in, once you get those loose enough, you just kind of grab on and pull them off. All that's left to do is disconnect this wiring, which you can see wasn't even doing anything, so that's probably why my AC wasn't working. But there's no point in fixing it, because it doesn't get very hot here for very long. Now we've got both of these bolts out. The other one's just stuck in there because the area is too tight. Our compressor should just be sitting in there with friction and corrosion now. And I had to take a pry bar and very carefully pry against the oil pan. Since it's aluminum, I do not want to crack it. But that is allowing us to get out of here. And I'm getting water dripping in my eye, which is nice. So I'll update you once I get it out. Here's that unit in all its glory. Sounding generally terrible. It's got a decent amount of wobble to it. Once you're idling around 800 to 1000 RPM, it'll just be sounding not nice. If all goes as planned, this unit should just sit right in between, which it indeed does, slot right up. And now looking at it from the bottom, you can see, although the field of vision is a little skewed from being far down, that the belt is one size smaller. There we go. If I hold it like this, you can see that you'll just line it up like so, and everything should work out fine. And the reason that I'm using this with nuts is because we don't have a threaded insert in this like the compressor did. It was threaded in the ends, so that's why it was just a bolt with nothing else in the end of it. You can see now the piece is installed. The bolts just slot through here, Either side, got a nut and a lock washer. And then this one, I have the head of the bolt on this side with the nut and the lock washer over here just because it was easier to get to. Now the belt's on, and here's a shot of what you'll end up with once it's sitting. So of this spot right here will be your empty area. Here's the solution I came up with for plugging these. You see this one's already been done. I started by shoving a Moret inside and then gave it a good wrap of electrical tape just to seal the deal. And I don't think anything will get in there, and if it does, it's not the end of the world. I ended up zip tying them both together here, pulling them all the way, and then going around the bracket for the AC filler. It's not the prettiest, and it will eventually break and wear through, but for now I think it's suitable. If anything, I can just add more zip ties as I go, or use a metal strap of some sort, but I think for testing purposes this will do fine for the time being. And I need to zip tie this connector on. It can probably just sit inside of here, because it's not going anywhere, and if it does, I don't really care if it breaks. There we go. Now all that's left to do is start the car up and take it for a quick drive. You can tell it sounds a lot better. Just nothing but diesel noises. Go back in the car. All you hear is the engine. I'll take it for a quick spin and see if everything stays quiet. Now we're back to turbo noises as normal. Sounds of a TDI. And there you have it, the fix for a Mark IV TDI, or potentially 1.8 or 2 liter, but I'm not sure if they have the exact same layout of the belt. Go to the back and all you hear is turbo.